wanted the best? You've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hello, this is Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There, ladies and gentlemen, that makes official welcome to the big show. For 18 years, 18 is over on YouTube, 16 years, and 2,800 episodes. We bring in the Chris Voss Show. Some of the most amazing minds, journeys, stories, and lessons of life that you can take and engage in. All of the wonderful stuff that can enlighten you, make you smarter and brighter, because that's what we do here at the Chris Voss Show. If you want the opposite, where your life just goes to hell, listen to a really awful podcast, well, we don't do that. But there's plenty of them out there, evidently, that do that as well. In the meantime, refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives, and go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, one word, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, and Facebook.com/Chris Voss. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. The book called The Sacred Spiral, Unlocking the Individual's Infinite Potentials, out September 30th, 2024, by pen name Dracaena A. Paxx. The individual behind the pen name, we're going to get into it as well. Ali Markham, known as Dracaena Paxx, has an interesting biography. She was affirmed to have epilepsy at 6 months old by her pediatrician. She has a BS in education and been a preschool teacher for over 30 years, working on MS in education. She's looking to teach both kindergarten and college. She has come to understand the cognitive disabilities that children attain as they grow, and abilities, plus the behaviors attributed to them. She has worked with many special needs young ones. Very recently, she was experienced many forms of grief. This led to transitional life coaching, education, and certificate to aid others with the same grief issue. She has lost her husband and son in the past 6 years, as well as hip surgery and brain RNS surgery in the past 6 years. She has learned from the process of suffering and wishes and help to share this with others. Everyone grieves differently. Hers was a chaos of emotions. Listening and praying to the deities has helped and is continually helping. She has learned much within spirituality. Hence, she wished not only to attain the life coaching certificate from ICF, but work with groups. A person's faith and spirituality play a huge part in this. Welcome to the show. How are you, Ali?
Hello, sir. How are you? And thank you for the wonderful intro.
There you go. Thank you for coming. We certainly appreciate it. Give us your .com so people can find you on the interwebs.
Ali.markham@yahoo.com.
There you go. And give us a 30,000 overview. What's inside your book?
What was that again?
Give us a 30,000 overview of what's inside your book.
Oh, I wrote it to what is inside. It's a book about mysticism. Mysticism and spirituality. I got so tired of hearing pagans argue with pagans, pagans argue with Christians, druids argue with everybody, and scientists just they close us all down. We're all walking the same path and we're taking different steps. That's all.
Yeah.
And people get over it.
Get over it, people. Just get over it. I mean, I'm an atheist. I don't argue with anybody. Exactly. I'm on my way wherever I'm going. But yeah, those pagans versus pagans, that gets out of hand sometimes. There's whatever. I don't know. I don't have jokes for that. So tell us about this book. It's a novel. Is that correct?
It's more or less, well, yeah, it could be a novel of everything I have experienced, everything my friends have experienced over 30 years. Mm-hmm. I'm presently adding to the book and working with my publisher. I'm going to be adding the life coaching I am so disgusted at the life coaching and the grief support that I have done a ton of research. Everybody seems to want you to talk to psychologists or psychiatrists. Not everybody needs that. They're resilient. They're strong. I am personally self-healing myself. You know, I'm very spiritual. I listen to the messages and it helps. It's a slow process, but it helps.
Yeah. Now, so would you call this a memoir then?
Probably, yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's more accurate.
All right. And you take the Celtic path with many shamanic tones. Tell us what that means.
It's a Celtic path with many shamanic tones. I was taught, 20 years ago by a Native American shaman. And I learned all the different astrological totems and, the magic within. And it is so much like the Celtic path. The Celtic path that I follow is specifically Irish. And she asked me, Allie, what is the difference between Celtic and shamanic? And my response, because energetically it's the same, the animals are different. There are no coyotes in Europe. There are no certain owls in Europe. And the plants, there's holly bushes, but they're different varieties. That's all.
Oh.
There's not a whole lot of difference. So essentially, you see the frame of thought is along the same lines, shamanic and Celtic.
Shamanic and Celtic. There you go. What a combination. Do a lot of people do that? They mix the two, or is this a personal preference?
I don't know. I went with my book to validate their theories, their thoughts. I don't know if a lot of people do this. I know I did. I learned to. And I realized there is basically no difference across the world. Again, we all walk the same path.
Yeah.
It was just a discovery I came upon myself. I'm sure there are others that have the same frame of mind as me. And it's just something I stumbled onto, and it works very well.
There you go. Well, different strokes for different folks, right? I mean, even as an atheist, I've just learned that people need things to get through life, and they need to believe in them. And, we all believe in different things to make it work. And
exactly,
if people believe things that doesn't hurt other people, and, there's their own turn business, then go about your way and don't hurt others.
Yes, and, exactly. That is exactly what I am trying to convey in this book.
Yeah. I believe that after you die, when you fart, glitter comes out your butt. That's the only joke. I just made that up on the spot. The only problem is that the glitter's kind of sharp, so it doesn't work out well. Anyway, but, it's heaven, so there's no pain or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So now, if you wrote this as a memoir, what was the reasoning for using your pen name? Is that maybe a name that you use in Druid work or mysticism?
Yes, it is. And when I do, when I have fun, I do Renaissance fairs, and Dracaena is my name at the Renaissance fairs. I had a leader, guildmaster, tell me 30 years ago, "Oh, you can't have the name as Dragon." And I was like, you know what? I'll fool you. I'll find a Latin name for dragon. And Dracaena is the Latin feminine for dragon. Draco is Latin masculine for dragon.
There you go.
Paxx is Latin for peace.
There you go. So dragon, feminine, peace, maybe? Is that?
Yes. Well, I'm feminine, so Dracaena of Dragon of Peace.
There you go. You might be the first druid we've ever had in the show in 16 years and 2,800 episodes. I'm thinking, I don't think anyone's ever come on. I mean, there might have been plenty of people that were druids, but they didn't bring it up on the show. But there you go. We got everybody on the show now. I think at this point, right now, all we need is Jesus. So there you go. I don't think we have Scientologists on the show. Oh no, I think we have, but that wasn't pushed on the show. So let's see. Now, with the Druid thing, you've done that for 30 years, and you have a group called the Society of the Waxing Moon.
Yes.
Why are you guys waxing the moon, man? Like, does it make it shine brighter or something?
Yeah, shine bright. No, the waxing moon is the moon of growth. It's growing to its fullest potential, the full moon. And that's basically why I came up with the name. And I've had so many students, people, friends, you know, the shaman friend, you know, I had a scientist, physics, friends that dealt with physics. And physics is one of the sciences that mysticism can really delve into. I wish people could see that we're walking the same path. We're just using different steps.
It's true. Sure. Some people are heading downward with their steps. I don't know what that means. It's a lame joke. So what do you hope people learn from this book? What do you hope they come away with? That
they're not wrong. So many people think, oh, I'm thinking this way, I might be wrong. You know, my teacher tells me I'm wrong. You're not wrong.
No.
If your teacher tells you you're wrong, then something needs to be discussed.
Sounds like the opposite of the book I'm working on. That's actually entitled "You're Wrong Because I Said So" by Chris Voss. So do you make all other belief systems equitably? You know, like you're not wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Very valid. I mean, with the week presently, I just posted yesterday a picture of Jesus Christ. Oh. And, you know, Jesus to me is a Middle Eastern version of a Druid. Oh. And, you know, the pain and the blood he lost, I go into that. Well, I will be going into that. It's an extension I'm going to add to my book.
Okay.
That is the largest form of blood magic the galaxy has ever seen.
Wow.
And it was necessary.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Now, how do all these religions work together? Because they don't work together very well in real life, it seems, you know.
I know. I hate
point at each other, and they're like, yeah, those people over there are full of shit. And then they're like, those people over there are full of shit. And then there are other people going, those two over there are full of shit. And then, you know, then you got the Mormons and the Scientologists. So, yeah, are those guys okay? Are those guys like? Are there certain cults that are out? Like, you remember that one cult? We actually had one of the relatives on the show who'd survived that. The Jerry Jones, Jim Jones, Jerry Jones. That's a whole different cult, but usually it involves LGBTQ people, the Cowboys. Anyway, that's a Cowboys joke we do online. Let's see. but yeah, not gonna.
Yeah, if a person is wrong, if they're making human beings have certain, you know, we love each other, we care for each other. What? We normally do. If a person tells you need to cut this one off, you need to cut this one off, you need to bring yourself into a private space and just have no contact, that something's wrong there. And you know, I've had criticism from friends that are, I think it's Jehovah's Witness and Scientologists. You know, oh, why don't you do this? Why don't you naturally heal your epilepsy? Why don't you get up? Epilepsy is caused by vaccines. No, it's not. It's hereditary. It's in the brain. Doctors need to work with you. I'm sorry, you cannot heal it herbally. And there are certain groups that are basically wrong. You know, I mean, yeah, they might love their own kind, but that's not fair.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting, some of the tack they take. Like, I always see when people, sadly, when things get shot up, there's a bunch of people that die and some person survives. And they go around going, well, God wanted me to live. And you're like, do you realize how insulting that is to the people who died? Because basically God said, fuck you, and you live. That's a really narcissistic sort of attitude to take.
It is.
Like, I want to be running going, I live because I'm special, and some guy in the sky said I'm special. Where you're stomping around through the blood of the people that passed. It might be better just to have some grace and gratitude and go, let's think about the people we lost as opposed to.
I mean, I will personally say, I lost my husband, I lost my son. They want me to live a life that would make them proud, that would make others proud, that inspires others. That is the reason I believe I lived. You wouldn't believe where you probably could believe where my mind was last year. I was thinking about getting a 12 gauge.
Wow.
I was like, you know what? I need to live and make them and make other past ones proud and do what they wanted to do.
And I mentioned their passing in the bio. Was that a proponent of what motivated you want to write the book, or what made you want to write it?
It motivated me to make the additions to the book. I wrote the book over several years and published it in 2011, I believe. And I went through a different publisher. Ex Libris is not a publisher to use. Writers Branding is.
There you go.
They're working with me to add.
And so it got reissued in September 30th, 2024. It looks like. Okay, so I've got the right book. I was going to ask you about that actually, because I'd found the other one first, and then I found this one, and I was like, okay, yeah. There's a lot of these publishers out there. It's kind of interesting.
Better publishers, yeah.
Yeah. Now, you've been through heartache, you've been through loss, and of course you've been doing this for a lot of years. Now, this society. Is there a website that you have for it? Can people get involved? Do you got to pay as a membership payment thing? How's that work?
No, I don't do that. I figure I don't want to do this for money. But there is. I'm still working on building a website. Right now, I have a Facebook group called The Sacred Spiral. Basically after my book. And like I said, I'm not techie oriented, so I don't know all the details of how to build a website.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a good thing to do. Now, do you do any counseling or coaching for teach people the ways of druids? There's not like a druid church on every corner like there is like
I have meetings in my front yard, or we'll go to say the city park, something like that, and we'll just take turns talking and how science affects mysticism, how mysticism affects science, what types of fae, what are involved, and what the sciences they use. We incorporate everybody's. We find a way to incorporate. Oh, this could be a lesson. Maybe we need to pay attention to this, and we research at the same time. So we basically figure we're not wrong. we wanna make it as accurate as possible.
There you go. Being accurate is Druidian. Do you call yourselves Druidians? I don't mean to put that on people.
Just Druids.
Druids. There you go.
There are Druids in Ireland, Scotland, England. It's Druids are part of nature. They respect and love nature. The spirits of the animals, the spirits of the plants, the spirits of the ether. And there's lots of walks of life that do that. And, I don't like the fact that these like minds point fingers at each other. Well, my way's better. My way's better. No, nobody's way's better. It's just different. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just different. Now, was Stonehenge part of the Druids?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm not sure how the stones got moved there. There have been lots of theories that there were giants or the people moved with logs. But yes, it does. It does coincide with the summer solstice. It probably was. I mean, personally, my favorite magical day is Lunasa. And I have a big shindig for Lunasa. So it makes sense.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Is there what kind of donations do I have? Like the Mormons, they always want a flat 10%.
Oh,
and
no.
then I think the Catholics, I don't know what the Catholics do.
If you're putting out positive energy to the universe, that's payment in itself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If a person wants to expound love or good, if they want to expand money, give to the homeless.
Oh, there you go. That's a good idea.
The children that are starving, that need help in America, take care of the people.
Wait, I have to be loving and kind? I'll just keep paying the tithing and being an asshole.
Trust me, that doesn't work. It's called karma. It doesn't work.
That's true. Yeah. Some people do that though. They're just they put the church on the weekend or the weekdays, and then on the weekend after they go partying and I don't know, kill hookers and do lines of coke, they're like, it's Sunday, I repent. And then they do it again.
My mom was that way. She was a very, very evil, bad person.
Oh wow.
Sunday.
There you go. So, have you? How has being a druid helped your life? Maybe what sort of changes that? I guess we're on the Self Druidism show.
More appreciation for what is coming. I sit out in my front yard and I watch the birds or the dragonflies, and I have had some very interesting meetings with them, and I have learned over 30 years. I'm 57 now. How messages are given from the divine, how we receive them. And, when we're younger, when we're starting out, we're probably too arrogant to receive them, because I was an arrogant dork in my 20s and 30s. I know a lot of people are. It's okay. I know they're going to grow into their wisdom.
I'm still a dork. That's what the girls tell me on Tinder. They go, I go, hey, you're kind of cute. And they go, get away, dork. Beat it. And they block me. And I'm like, damn it. Again, for the 5,000th time. I'm sure it's her. Let's see. Now, is there any, you mentioned about writing extension for the book. Are there any future books or other books maybe you're working on now that you got this one?
Because I'm a preschool teacher, and I don't love preschool, but I've thought about doing children's books. I need to think about it a little bit more and what direction I want it, because there are already behavioral books out there. I'm wondering if I should take my spirituality, downgrade it a lot. When I was 5, I would hallucinate because I was on drugs, Dilatin and phenobarb. But what other kids have active imaginations? Well, I see this. Well, I see this. And make that being, talk to them like Spider-Man. And I've just thought about children's books and, validating imaginations. And because my imagination, when I was a child, grew into what I am now.
Oh. Imagination is such a great thing.
Yes.
I mean, what did Einstein say? He said imagination is more important than knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you definitely need knowledge, folks. I used to think that imagination could beat knowledge, but if you have a knowledge base set at any given level, maybe, some people have that Dunning-Kruger disease problem, but, if you have knowledge at any given level, you can build on it with imagination by hopefully maybe getting to the next level. Knowledge.
And you basically research and, imagination is the same as an intuition, and the two work together. They should work together. That's what I have done for 30 years.
That's the great thing about humans. I mean, it enables me to be a great entrepreneur because I can imagine, I can see something, and like most entrepreneurs do, and they go, this widget sucks. I could make this way better. Are these people stupid? And then you see a better vision for making something better. Steve Jobs, the phone, paper clips, you name it. I do a lot of that reference on the show.
Yeah.
But and of course, making and thinking about how we can make our lives better. There's lots of people like you mentioned. Now, when I was reading the bio, there was something about life coaching in there. Do you do any of that?
I'm trying. I'm working with, I have the certificate from my school, which is Grand Canyon University, but ICF, International Coaching Federation, wants to see my transcripts, and I'm still working with international coaching, because I want to be licensed in order to, I figure I'll go to churches and, I know a lot of people that are grief-stricken are probably praying really hard and don't understand what to do. And I want to help them
figure out
what to do.
Now, do Druids have an outfit? Don't they have like a black cape or something?
No, it's a white robe.
It's a white robe. Okay.
It's a white robe.
Yeah.
But it's not necessary.
Do they walk around and hum a lot? Kind of like monks? Monks too?
No.
So hit things or anything? So is there any sacrificing of goats, or are those the pagans?
No. That's neither.
Oh.
Do not.
That's just us on Friday nights, evidently, the Chris Voss show.
Sorry.
Yeah, we get a little mint jelly and some goat.
I mean, I even took it to the level. I had some friends. One was a diehard Christian. One was she loved the Christianity and the paganism, and they both they were wanting to get married. So I wrote a Christian and pagan wedding, and they loved it because, to me, St. Francis is a Druid in Catholic form. So I did the wedding and used the St. Francis. And I rewrote the Great Spirit words to incorporate a whole lot more energy. They loved it. Yeah. It was wonderful. And what the groom's colors were burgundy and gold. And the wedding finished in the evening in dusk. And later on that night, a Ceanothus silk moth, those are moths that are bigger than my hand, landed right on his coat.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, guess what that is, Mike? That's a message. But it's.
How'd you get turned on to this format of belief system?
I was raised Catholic. But like I said before, my mom was a very evil, nasty human being. And I had always been curious about what was in my imagination.
Yeah.
And I started studying and researching, and I eventually met my husband through that process.
Was he a Druid?
No, he was mystical, but we wear basic clothes. And he worked with the angels and the dark angels. Not humans. People get that confused. It's stupid. He worked with both. And he worked with the darker energies of life.
Yeah.
And I learned a whole lot through him.
Wow.
And a whole lot it has been practiced in the world. Like what's the group? Rush.
Yeah. Big Rush fan right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm really excited today. Yeah.
It's sad for Neil Peart.
Yeah.
Rick Allen is the best drummer in the world.
Rick Allen?
Yes.
Rick Allen is a Triumph?
He's the best drummer in the world. He's the one-armed drummer from Def Leppard.
Oh, yeah, okay. Wow, yeah, yeah.
Neil was my absolute favorite for a very long time until I learned this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm a big Rush fan. Last night, I think it was last night, the Juno Awards 2026, Rush performed with their new touring drummer. I don't know if they're going to do albums together.
Really? But, they lost Alex?
I don't know if Alex ever played with them. Did he?
Yeah, he was the drummer. Neil was the... Was
there a show they did?
He was. I'm sorry, he wasn't the drummer. He was the guitar. He was the electric. I don't think he was bass. I'm not sure.
Well, Alex Lifeson is on guitar and Geddy Lee is on bass. They're still alive.
Yeah.
But they performed last night with their new drummer. It's this gal from overseas. She has kind of a unique name. Annika, I believe, is her name. Really? And they played with their new keyboardist for the tour. He's played with The Who for a lot of years and some other bands. And so they opened at the Juno Awards in Canada. I feel like I should probably say that. They opened at the Juno Awards in Canada, we love our Canadian friends. A boot, sorry. They opened for them. So I'm a big Rush fan. I imagine, some of the early stuff they wrote around was, I think it was like Tolkien mysticism and Druidism, maybe.
Yeah, I love those. 2112.
2112.
Kings. I love them.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I have 3 the sold out tickets for Irvine, the first 3 shows of the tour. So I'm really excited about it. Do you now with your coaching, is there a website connected to that? Is there a website connected to that?
Like I said, I don't know a lot. I probably have to talk to my techie friend.
Yeah. Gotta keep techie friend these days.
And I would like there to be, but I right now I'm working on my education and working with ICF and getting licensed through them.
There you go. The Druids. I didn't know this was going to become a Druid show. Any future books that the Druid show? Does anybody have a podcast for that? Maybe you should look at that. Welcome to the Druid show. Peace be with you, my friend. All hail. What's that? Stonehenge. Anyway, so any future books coming up? No.
Okay. If anything, I'll add to this one.
Okay.
I am so busy. I am very famous for overextending myself. I don't think so.
Okay. Because a lot of these books nowadays, they keep them small so people read them quick because they have short attention span. So people just throw in extra books and stuff might be a thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Interesting. Yeah, it's something where, like, it used to be like for business books, you'd have like 100,000 words. Now they tell you to only do 50 because it's, just people just don't have attention spans anymore, And I think the same thing with like even fiction. They've cut it down, and I think I've had people on recently. They're telling me they're cutting it down more. People are used to those 20-second blips on YouTube Shorts, and stuff like that. So
yeah,
they're like, "What, a book? I've got to read this for more than 5 minutes."
That is something I'm thinking about doing. Is learning to do TEDx talk shows. Because I am a public performer. I am a public speaker. I was my grad speaker at one of my colleges. So I really want to learn. I could get on stage and go in front of 50,000 people, no problem.
There you go.
I could do coaching. I saw a wonderful YouTube video on resilient coaching and grief recovery. And I was like, I could do that. I need to learn how to do that. Probably not to learn.
Helping people process grief is super important.
Yes, it is.
Some of the things we do here on the show, we share stories of people going through cathartic moments in life and recovering, and how they did it, and how, you're not alone in the world, and they can help you too. So there you go. So final pitch out and thoughts to people to pick up the book, where they can find it, .com, social media, any sort of reference.
Right now it's on Amazon. My publisher, I need to purchase a marketing package through my publisher, but right now on Amazon, and look for the Writers Branding Publisher. Ex Libris, they wanted a hardback. I don't want a hardback. I want a softback, and they tried arguing with me about, Ex Libris did, about using the Nebula. NASA.gov is a public domain site. So there is no problem with me using the Orion Nebula. Yeah, I got so disgusted with Ex Libris. Look for the Writers Branding, and the paperback only, because it will tell you the hardback's not available. It's not. The
there you go.
Only.
There you go. All right. Well, folks, order per book wherever fine books are sold. The Sacred Spiral: Unlocking the Individual's Infinite Potentials, out September 30th, 2024. Thanks to my audience for tuning in. Thanks to my guests for being here. We certainly appreciate it, Allie. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Facebook.com/Chris Voss, and YouTube.com/Chris Voss. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.